Panettone is a traditional Italian holiday bread. Today I'm going to share with you my version of bread pudding with panettone. I'm Marie Cristiani, the Aerialist Chef. Let's get started. The first thing we want to do is toast our panettone because we want it to soak up all that wonderful custard. And you just want to slice it into columns. And then you're going to slice each one of those into strips. You don't have to be perfect with this. It doesn't matter because it's all going to soak up custard. The important thing is you want to toast it just till it's golden and kind of dried. And I'm using 2 baking pans because what I don't want to do is clump them all together. You want to spread them out so that the heat can toast them all evenly. I've cut all the panettone. It's ready to go in the oven. I just want to explain to you what panettone is. It's an enriched egg bread. It has butter and eggs in it. It's delicious. And this one has raisins, and it also has golden raisins and dark raisins because that gives you different flavors, and candied citron, which is absolutely delicious. I will be adding pecans to mine. Sometimes I add almond. It's up to you. You don't need to do that. And I'm even going to add a little bit more raisins that I've soaked in bourbon overnight. So that's going to make it really, really good. All right, into the oven we go. Okay, the other thing that makes my panettone bread pudding special is I'm actually using eggnog. Evaporated milk, which is higher in protein, so that will make it really nice. And I'm going to use whole eggs, 3 whole eggs, because remember, eggnog has eggs in it, so we don't need quite as many. I've adapted this recipe from Shanae today. I hope she doesn't mind. I've made quite a few changes, but the general spirit's the same, and it's a wonderful recipe. We eat so much panettone in our house that during the holidays that sometimes it's nice to have a different version of things. All right, you see I just whisked the eggs and the milk together, and I'm going to go ahead and throw in my butter, another whole stick of butter, and sugar. This is making a custard. Not all bread puddings are made this way. A lot of times they're you just add eggs, raw eggs and milk, and you pour it over and you cook it. This is actually going to be a much richer bread pudding because we're making an actual custard before we even cook it. All right, now I just need to cook this about 10 minutes. You want to whisk pretty frequently because you don't want your milk to burn on the bottom of the pan, and with the sugar that's a possibility. All right, our sauce has been cooking about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add the salt. I have a little bit of almond extract. That's optional, but I really like that in this. And of course, you can't do anything without my wonderful vanilla bean paste. I have a really good rum here. If you don't want liquor in there, you don't have to, but actually this is safe because it's going to cook down quite a bit and cook off. And then I have those raisins that, remember, I soaked overnight in bourbon. So this is a very, very happy custard right now. As soon as our panettone comes out of the oven, we're going to pour this into the bowl and mix it together and bake it off. Our panettone is toasted out of the oven, and I find it easier to mix it in a separate bowl than what I'm going to bake it in, okay? Our custard is done, and I'm just going to pour all of it over the toasted bread. You want to get all those wonderful raisins, and you just want to gently make sure that you have every piece of bread coated with the custard. That's all you're doing here. It's quite hot, so be careful. Now I have a ceramic baking dish, or you could do a 9x9 baking pan. All the information you're going to need is down below, so don't worry about it. I'll give you little tips too. All right, I've sprayed it with baking spray. And I'll just gently put it in here. Now I'll set this aside for about half an hour for it to soak in, and sometimes I'll even do this part the night before, cover it after it cools, cover it, put it in the fridge, and then the next day bake it off. So it's a really handy thing. If you're not baking it right away, then don't put the nuts on it until right before you bake it, okay? But for time's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and bake it now. So I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle my pecans that I just roughly chopped. You don't have to add these, but I like it. Sometimes I do almonds. You can even mix pecans and almonds, be really nice. All right, this will go into the oven for about 35, 40 minutes, maybe 50, depending on your oven. The important thing is that it's cooked all the way through. You can take a knife and kind of spread it apart and make sure that there's no more gooey part in the middle. All right, into the oven we go. Our bread pudding is completely done. I've made a brown butter rum eggnog sauce to put on top. It's delicious. It takes a little time to make. If you feel intimidated by it, you shouldn't. I'm going to give you very detailed instructions. It's more time consuming than difficult, but there are other options that I also include for you to use if you don't want to do that. So we'll taste it. Now you can serve this room temperature, you can serve it hot. Oh, no matter how you serve it, your guests will absolutely love it. It has amazing flavors. You taste nutmeg, you taste eggnog, and a little bit of rum. I absolutely love it, and I think you will too. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.